Hi, everybody. Welcome to CLAT Tutor Legal Discussions. I'm Shashank, and today we'll be discussing another very interesting, controversial, and quite often discussed in the media and newspaper. This particular case is about the Bhima Koregaon violence. Now, this is an extremely controversial issue with lots of elements involved in the facts. So, we're going to avoid getting into the nuances because there's a lot of things that not just aren't clear yet after the fact finding committee's report, but so many things that are still so controversial that we don't want to take one opinion and have it changed later. The Elgar Parishad Convention is an annual convention that happens, and in 2018, it was commemorating the 200th year of the Battle of Bhima Koregaon. Now, this convention and an annual event is extremely important for the Dalit community, and there is a lot of things that have happened in the recent past in 2018. Why the convention in that particular year got extremely complicated and volatile. Now, to mark the 200th anniversary on 1st January 2018, the Elgar Parishad Convention was organized by retired justices B.G. Kholse Patil and Justice P.V. Sawant. Now, due to a lot of factors that came into play right before the convention happened, there was an extremely volatile situation in Bhima, in Maharashtra, and in areas around Pune, especially because of the issues regarding Marathas and Dalits and the claims that each of them were making. There was a lot of violence on the days of the convention and protests that happened across Maharashtra. Eventually, there had to be a Maharashtra Bandh, and there's this saying that in Maharashtra, in Mumbai especially, if the local train gets affected, then the issue is extremely serious, and the entire local train system, and including the dabbawalas, had to stop their you know seamless operations, and everything was affected. So the issue was quite extreme, at least at the time. Now, several activists were arrested after the violence and the entire Elga Parishad Convention completed. Particularly, the five most prominent activists, or the ones that got reported the most, were Sudha Bharadwaj, Gautam Navlakha, Arun Ferreira, Vernon Gonzalez, and P. Varavara Rao. Now, all of these people have been arrested before. All of these people are very prominent activists. They're writers, some of them are poets, and they speak a lot about different ideologies and theories. Particularly, P. Varavara Rao is a very open, claimant of or a I'd say defender of Marxist ideology, and that's why they're very prone to police brutality or arrests that happen that target these individuals and their extreme ideas. Now, in this case, a lot of them were arrested from their individual houses, and the media reports and several situations suggest that there was a very high-handed approach from the police, and it seemed like this was an intentional curb down of the freedoms of the fundamental rights of these individuals. They were charged with under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, or the UAPA as is often called. Now, one of the key things about the UAPA that most of the people have written about, or you would have heard about, is the unlawful detention, or the fact that they can detain someone and keep them without having to take them before a magistrate or some judge within 24 hours. So that the liberty which the police gets from the UAPA is why it's often abused more than used for the right reasons. Now, after being arrested, there were extremely deplorable conditions in prison. The health of all these five people was not good. They're not young individuals, and they've been allegedly tortured and kept in very brutal conditions. At one point, there were reports about Dr. Varavara Rao being in prison, lying on his bed in his urine, and he was extremely affected in terms of his breathing issues and other health problems. Their bail was rejected in several instances, and at one point the Bombay High Court even mentioned to these individuals, why don't you apply for bail on medical grounds? And eventually, most recently in February, Dr. Varavara Rao was given bail. And this case particularly is prominent for three reasons. One, the Bhima Koregaon violence, at least, and all of the aftermath that happened was extremely sensationalized in the media. And these particular individuals, their names, their roles, their jobs are very important to understand why they were picked up and jailed. The second reason is the entire situation of the freedom of speech and how activists, journalists, and poets and writers have been arrested, detained, and attacked by the police as they claim. That's the second reason, with the building up of this sedition or these charges of these people affecting creating disaffection towards the country. And that's the second reason why this is so important. Third reason is from a very legal standpoint, how this case involves some of the most prominent lawyers. In fact, when the case was filed first, it was filed by Ms. Romila Thapar. For those of you who don't know, Romila Thapar is a very prominent historian, and her books are considered a landmark and taught across many universities, including NLS at one point. So, a lot of high profile individuals were involved in this case. Apart from the fact that this entire issue was sensationalized in the media, and the fact that the violence not just initiated in Maharashtra, but created an uproar in the Dalit community and the Maratha community across Maharashtra and in other parts of India. And that's why this case is so interesting for us, and not just looking at Dr. Varavara Rao's situation and his bail, which happened in February 2021, but also to just understand the case and the greater, like, the nuance of what really happened and why the situation has gotten so bad. That's all there is for today in our legal discussion. Please write to us if you have any queries. Our email is hello@clatutor.com. Until the next video, take care, stay safe. Thank you. Bye.